What is up, guys? It is the sports nerd Bradley Walker. Welcome to the Walker Report, part of NGSC Sports, guys. Remember the website, it's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. The show is sponsored by biotropiclabs.com. Head over there when you check out, use promo code TWR for 15% off a one-time purchase, and use the code TWR with a lowercase s as in Sam for 20% off a subscription purchase, including one additional free supplement. Head over there to biotropiclabs.com. Well, guys, it is Thursday. Hopefully, everyone out there is having a good one. Um, the first Thursday of June. So that means that puts us halfway through the year. Wow, year's going by quick. Um, yeah, we have a lot to get to. I'm waiting for my co-host to pop in here, guys. So bear with me here. But I am waiting for them to pop in. As soon as they come in, we will go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking, guys, hopefully tonight about the PGA Live and the LPGA Tour, MLB, F1, NCAA football, NFL, and the Professional Women's Hockey League, which I just wrote my first article about Professional Women's Hockey League. It's up on the web on ngscsports.com right now. If you want to take a gather at it, you can. Popped up. I had and I think the expansion draft is like in the NHL happened, and there are two new franchises, the one in Vancouver and the one in Seattle, had the right to go out and get players from other teams to add to their franchise. Also sign unrestricted free agents as well. So just like with an expansion draft in the NHL, it is, yeah. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna sit and wait. I got a couple. It should be on here in a couple minutes. But I've had a um mixed Thursday. Kind of had a pretty shitty day at work, but it's gotten better since I got home. Spent some time. Obviously, I got my dog, who's always with me when I do my shows, and my girlfriend do at the movie theater. But I got to spend some time with her. Um, but yeah, I'll just wait till they get in here and we can go ahead and discuss that. Um, the MLB had some exciting news. So yeah, I will get into that one when the show takes off here. Like I said, they should be coming on here in the next minute or so. Usually you'll start to see them pop in right around 8 o'clock. I just started the show early so that I could get the sponsor and our guys. We're also part of, and I keep forgetting to mention this, the Game Winner Sports Network, Mancini Media, Snowman Multimedia Sports, and the Sports Alliance of Incorporated of America. So we are also part of those. You can log on to their Facebook pages and see this show on there. And again, like I said, you can always catch the uh, articles in this show on NGSC Sports. I'll have my show and the show that me and Alec do up tomorrow morning uh, on the website. So those will both be up in the morning. But again, I'm just waiting, guys, for. Oh, there is Adam. What's up, buddy? What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh yeah.
Looks like you guys are all here now. How's it going?
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Indeed.
So the biggest news guys I saw in MLB is it looks like Rob Manfred wants to bring the automated strike zone to MLB next year. So I happened to watch a YouTube clip about all the ejections in the month of May, and I've got to say it's about time to
It's
have it come
way
in.
Yeah.
overdue.
The umpires are
Yeah.
horrible. Calls that I saw in that video were
They
horrible,
always are.
horrible calls. So yeah,
Yeah, umpires are
Yeah, I
manipulated.
was watching a video the other day too of ejections from March through June, May, and yeah,
Right.
some of the ejections were just horrible. Especially Christopher Morel when he got ejected for
Eh,
slamming the bat on home plate.
Yikes.
Like that's not worthy of ejection.
No.
Or
Well,
these go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I talk enough as it is.
Or these umpires when they come out, like I watched the Red Sox game a couple weeks ago when Walker Buehler got thrown out. That umpire was instigating. He was looking for a reason to throw Buehler out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Buehler was just simply asking him, why isn't that a strike? The pitch was right down the middle.
Say
What
what?
were you go ahead and say what you were gonna say, Adam?
Um, no, the most egregious one I saw was the other day in the Rays game, and I forget who it was that got run, but he tapped his helmet,
Oh, Taylor
and
Walls.
and
Taylor Walls. Yeah, that was egregious. Like, why is that worthy of getting thrown out of the game for tapping your helmet?
I
The
can
only,
understand some.
you know what? The only reason I can think of why he got tossed is maybe the home plate umpire thought that Walls was showing him up.
But at the end
The
of the day, no
possibility.
one's there to see the home plate umpire.
No, they're there to see the game. The one I thought that was most egregious was Javier Baez when he got tossed.
I didn't
I know
see that one, so
Brad, did you see that when Baez got tossed and he absolutely lost his mind?
yeah, that was the Tigers, and the funny thing is, he got thrown out right before um AJ Hinch got out there, and Hinch said, "Hey, you're throwing my guy out. I didn't even have a chance to come out and protect him. You threw him out." And um,
ooh,
I
excuse me.
forget the assistant coaches. There was two assistant coaches that hold him back because
He was
he lost
hot.
it complete. Yeah, he was pissed. He comes out, and I'm like, see, there's the situation where I guess at that point they're so upset that they don't like they know a fine is coming because obviously if you do anything towards an umpire, you're gonna get fined by
Right.
MLB.
Yeah.
It's just that way, unfortunately. But
Or
I mean, I guess if you're that upset, I'd say okay, find me because I didn't make any
Yeah.
contact with him. You could go ahead and find me. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
So
that's like these guys when they strike out and they're walking away and they flip their helmet and they gently set their
Yeah.
back
But
down. Like, and these umpires are like, you're gone. Like, for what? He wasn't even
yeah.
talking to you. He was walking away, going back to the dugout, took his helmet off, tossed his bat. Or that's like, I saw the other day, there was an obstruction. I think it was the Dodgers. The Dodgers were playing somebody,
Mhm.
and the other team wanted them to call obstruction because Max Muncy was standing in front of third base, and I guess one of the new rules now is you're not allowed to stand in front of the base. And he was standing in front of the base, and the umpire didn't call obstruction. And I think it was the Diamondbacks. Their Torey Lovolo absolutely blew a fuse because he's like, "How are you not going to call obstruction?" He was clearly standing in front of the bag, blocking it, and not giving the runner a lane to slide or go into the base.
Right.
well, did you guys see I watched this on John Boy Media today. Did you guys see the play in college baseball? I think it was Oregon, and I forget the team that they were playing
I
against. But
forget. Yeah, I did see it.
Yeah.
the kid slides into the home plate, and they don't they call out they call the catch in the outfield an out, and as he slides in, because he made contact with the catcher, he'd have been out anyway. Even though the
The,
catcher didn't even come in, he
yeah,
got in.
Blocking the
the
plate. It should have
catcher
been.
was blocking the plate.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't. Maybe catch baseball rules are different than MLB rules. I don't know, but I saw that it. I thought the catcher was blocking the plate, and I thought it should have been the run should have counted. I thought it should have gone the other way.
Yeah.
I thought. I
Or
thought the. I.
how about the kid that hit a home run and then he gets ejected because he was showboating?
I.
I I think
That's.
that's one of the dumbest rules in college baseball.
I
Yes.
just think it's a dumb rule. Period.
Let these
I
if
don't
these
like
kids hit a home run, let them celebrate.
pimp the shit out of it, man.
Yeah,
Right.
do what Jose Bautista used to do.
Yeah. Well, for
Flip
me,
the bat
no,
15 feet in the air.
as long as the celebration isn't delaying the game, that's all that I care about. There's no reason to, not to switch gears in sports, but kind of in the same vein. I don't think it's necessary for the defense to all run down as a team to the opposite end zone and pose for a picture. To me, that's excessive because you're slowing down the process. Let's get off the
Yeah,
field. If you score, if it's a pick six or a fumble, scoop and score, okay, fine, cool, you scored. But the having to celebrate everything drives me nuts.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And when
then there's also some other dumb rules in college baseball. Like the SEC, they have a rule where if it starts to get dark outside in baseball,
mm-hmm,
they have to stop the game.
yep,
Just like the old
what
days.
happened? It was a couple weeks ago. Was it
Kentucky.
Kentucky?
It was
That's what I
Kentucky,
thought.
and I want to say maybe
Mississippi
Ole
State.
Miss. The
Ole
pitcher
Miss,
stood on the mound and stalled until it got dark.
until they got to the official cutoff time.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that's the dumbest thing to do. Just finish the game. And it's not like
Yeah,
he was going to go anywhere in the SEC tournament anyway.
Yeah.
But the other thing with the MLB is, can we stop giving the Dodgers freebies? Like,
I don't know. Can you?
can we stop giving them players for free?
Yeah.
The Reds just did it. I guess the MLB hasn't learned their lesson. Don't give the Dodgers people for free. They already have a $1 billion roster. And I mean, I would say, how's that working out for you? Because half of your pitching staff is on the injured list.
Mm-hmm.
Sasaki's out, Glasnell's out, Snell's out, which Snell doesn't surprise me. He's been injury prone his whole career.
And yet they're still winning games anyway.
Yep. But
third
Brad and
best
I
team in
talked
the
about this on our show earlier, how Phillies fans need to just hush.
Yeah.
Because there's a Phillies fan I follow on TikTok, and he gets on there every day and he makes a video on. Yesterday it was, oh, nobody's heard of Jazz Chisholm. He faked an injury for 3 weeks and now he's back. Or my favorite one is when he talks about Ohtani. He's like, oh, Shohei Ohtani's washed.
what?
Bryce Harper clears him by a
Mm.
mile.
Yeah, it's sort of your crack pipe, but
Yes. Well,
Well, and
Yeah.
then you think that's bad, Adam. Wait till I say this next one. He thinks Aaron Judge is overrated.
really now.
I mean, how? I think Aaron Judge is properly rated.
I do too.
I mean, what are
He's
you saying?
one of
about
the
18
best
months of the year so far.
right
Come on.
fielder. He's one of the best right fielders in baseball. And he's one of the top 50 players in baseball too.
Yes.
I think he's a
Maybe
top
even
15
top
player.
10. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I put him top 10. I mean, I think he's probably one of the top 10 everyday guys,
Yeah,
excluding
with
pitchers.
guys like Bobby Witt,
You know, if we're talking about just in the field guys, so do you have Otani, Freeman?
well, Otani DHs right now, but I think he's going to pitch at some point this year. Which, oh boy, that's going to
If
be
they get that
scary.
arm going,
If he gets his arm going and he pitches, I'm afraid to even turn on a Dodgers game, knowing he's going to go out every fifth day and pitch 6 or 7 innings.
even if he goes every 10 days, if they can spot start
They
him,
need the as much starting pitching help as they can get right now.
well, if
And here's
if they
my
can,
problem
if
is people want to always link them to Trevor Bauer, who's never going to come back to MLB, even though he just won his case today.
yeah, no, he won't come. Even if they offered him, he won't come back. I'm
And
pretty
people
sure
are like, oh, he's
his
being
TikTok.
blackballed by MLB.
Well,
He's
he
not
doesn't need
being
MLB.
blackballed by MLB. He's
He's not,
choosing not to come back because he makes more money on TikTok and YouTube.
and YouTube. Yeah,
Yes.
he's hilarious. I love his YouTube stuff.
I do too.
Yeah.
And it was still
What?
cool to see
He's
that kind of game.
he's 34.
Yeah,
So
he's. I'm not gonna say he's out of his prime because there is guys that are in their 30s. Look at, I mean, I would say Verlander, but Verlander's hurt
yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
well,
Scherzer's hurt, and get this: Scherzer's
but
making $72 million from 3 different teams combined,
yep. Hey, I
and
mean,
he's
it's a
out
good
injured.
grip.
And people are like, "Oh, he's fleecing the Blue Jays. He's fleecing the Nationals. He's fleecing the Mets."
No, they're the ones that signed him.
Exactly.
As stupid as a stupid does. PT
Yep.
Barnum, there's a sucker born every minute. I mean, but to touch on Trevor Bauer again, real to finish up on Trevor Bauer. He's 34 years old. He's been pitching in Japan for the last year and a half now. He would have
Yeah.
to come back and not to disparage Japanese baseball, but there's a reason why those guys are over. There's a reason why there's only a handful of Japanese baseball players in a major league.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like
Exactly.
Otani, Hyun Kim. Those are the only 2 I can name.
Right. And he would have to come back over and he would have to work through. He'd probably need a month down in AAA just to see if he still got the stuff. And if they were to sign him, if the Dodgers were to sign him today, you're looking post All-Star break before you get him back.
Well, yeah, and plus, I would think Glasnow, Sasaki,
Now,
Snell would all be back by then. And plus, if they're not, they've been linked to Walker Bueller, which I mean, I like Walker Bueller, but I don't know if I know he has a good reputation in October, but still, he's over 30 years
Yeah.
old, and I would rather just give it to your young guys. You got a bunch of young guys in AAA that could come up and pitch. Like, you
and
really haven't given a guy like Bobby Miller a chance, Justin Robleski.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of bringing up guys from the minors. Let's see what you got. I've never been a big fan of late season trades. I don't think that they work out all that well.
No, unless you're a
Um,
team that really needs it. Like, there's only a few teams I can name that actually need starting pitching. Like the Cubs need it, and I think the Cubs would be willing to part with a couple of their prospects to get a Alcantara or maybe Zach Littell if the Rays fall out of it. But I
yeah,
think
but
Alcantara, I think, is going to command a very, very big return because he's still got control left on his contract.
right. And
And
I
these
just I've
other
seen
pitchers like Bassett, you might have to
mm,
give up a mid-table prospect, a guy that's like 15 or 20 in your farm system, because he's going to be a pure rental unless you somehow decide, oh, he did so good, let's give him an extension. And sometimes extensions don't work out.
yeah, no. And I've seen I very rarely have I ever seen a late season trade be, especially a splash trade where you trade away two prospects and a couple of picks to go and get an arm or go and get a bat, have it pay dividends in the playoffs. Most of the time,
I mean,
they
the Cubs did it a couple years back for Chapman.
Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah.
Did he have a big impact in the playoffs? Did they go and win a World Series? I mean,
Yep. That's the year they beat
in
the Cleveland
2016.
baseball team in the World
Cleveland,
Series.
the Cleveland Indians. You just say the Indians.
Yeah.
What at that time it was the Indians that they beat.
Now the Guardians.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't like it
I
either.
was on my way. I was on my way to Detroit, Michigan. The next day after the Cubs sealed, they won Game 7. I think it was Game 7 or Game 6. I don't remember which. But yeah, I was on my way to Detroit, Michigan the next day.
So what is are we sticking with baseball or are we going to the next topic, Brad?
Well, it was cool to see that Jack Cockleone finally got called up by the Royals. Um, being that he's a Florida Gator, it's always a good thing to have these kids get called up. Um, I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Did you see that Verstappen has had some issues this year in F1? Am I
Yeah,
reading that too much into that, or what's going on with that?
Red Bull's this new car that Red Bull rolled out hasn't been the greatest.
Yeah.
Uh, they've fallen behind the curve this year.
Because what car does Lewis Hamilton now drive?
He's
Is he
he's in the
Ferrari?
he's in the Ferrari.
Ferrari? Okay. He
Hmm.
went
Yeah,
from
he moved
Mercedes,
over.
right?
Yeah, he moved from
Before.
Mercedes to Ferrari.
Okay.
Uh, McLaren's got their issues figured out.
Yeah. See, I try to keep up with NASCAR and F1, but it's kind of
Well,
hard when you got all these other.
who won Monaco this year?
Um, is it Pistorius? There we go. Lando Norris driving the
Ah,
other
okay.
McLaren.
Okay.
Max finished fourth, and then he had issues last week in Spain and finished 10th.
So it's still
But
inside the
he's
top 10.
yeah, but he's 31 points down now.
Yeah, because last year he won
29.
like every race. He
Yeah,
won
pretty
like
much.
every race. Yeah, he dominated the F1 series last year. So,
Yeah.
or F1 the circuit last year. Um, yeah, I wanted to tell. I didn't see anything. I keep my eyes open on NASCAR and Indy. I know obviously on Memorial Day you had Monaco, Indy 500, and then the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte.
Very.
So, um, but there is something. I mean, I'm the only one I think in here that's really a golf fan. I got an article. Um, these are the top 15 guys that have yet to win a major, and this is an article about they deserve a major before they retire. I've heard, of course, go back and talk about Jim Kelly and Dan Marino and all those guys that in the NFL or even NHL players that are good enough that have never won a Stanley Cup. But these are golfers. The one that catches my biggest attention is number one, and that's Ricky Fowler. I can't believe how much he's fallen off the radar. He was at one time one of the top players on tour, and he has just disappeared.
Yeah.
Now, he became a father.
Oh, the rise
Obviously,
and
when
fall.
you're family, stuff like that is priority. But he hasn't been the same player for a long, long time. So I am, that's the one that the rest of these guys. Yeah, I mean, there's some good names on this list, but he's the one that, I mean, Tony Finau, he might win one before it's all said and done. Victor Hovland's another good player. They have Xander Schauffele. Xander Schauffele's won two. This list has to be old because Xander Schauffele has won two majors recently, so that has to be an old list. But yeah, just some of the names. Jason Day's another one from Australia. He's a good player, but he's had some injuries that have hurt him from winning. I read something the other day that Phil Mickelson, who is past 50, is looking to complete the career Grand Slam. He has to win the U.S. Open, which I think that tournament kicks off next week.
Yes.
That's the hardest of the four majors to win.
Did you see where there was a 17-year-old kid that qualified for the U.S. Open?
Was
Just like
he
Tiger did.
the U.S. amateur champion?
No, the
Yeah.
big tournament.
He was the U.S. amateur champion, so he
Oh,
qualified.
okay, yeah. Qualified. Okay. That's how he qualified. Okay. Well, yeah, I think Tiger was 18 or 19 when he first got in. So, yeah, it's not
I think
shocking
he was
that,
16.
was he 16?
I think 16.
I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't he the youngest to win the Masters? Could
Yeah,
be wrong about that.
This was 19.
Tiger was the youngest to
he
win the
was the
Masters.
youngest to win the Masters.
And the funny, if you look back at his first win when he won in 98, 99, 97, 98.
99 somewhere.
96.
And he comes off the green and hugs Earl, his dad, and then the last Masters he won, which I don't know, man, I had tears come out of my eyes because it was so cool to see him win again. He hugged Charlie, who's his son, and Charlie,
That was 97.
I believe won a tournament here recently at the age of 17. So Charlie's right there now. Again, it's going to be one of those things where the pressure is going to be on him, obviously, because of who his dad is. That's the only troubling part about having someone who's been so great for so long. And I'm telling you, I know Tiger's got back issues and all that stuff, but don't be surprised if he doesn't go on the Champions Tour and dominate that tour because they only played 3 rounds and it's not going to be as demanding on him as it was the PGA. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't end up dominating the Champions Tour too. So
yeah,
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
And he's got one more year. Well, in December he'll be eligible.
Okay, as we say, he's 49, is he not?
Yeah, he turns 50 on December 30th.
And the U.S. Open starts next Thursday. It's at Oakmont.
Yes.
It's the 125th U.S. Open Championship. That's in Pennsylvania for anyone out there who doesn't know where Oakmont is. And Bryson
Oh yeah,
DeChambeau
yeah.
is the defending Open champion. He won the U.S. Open
Oh
last year,
dear.
so he is. Um, I read an article the other day that the majors, and I guess in some way, are keeping the live players from like invading the tour. At this point, there still is no deal between the two tours, so that was
Right.
supposed to have already happened. It hasn't happened yet, and I think the longer that it goes, I don't know if there'll ever be
Oh,
the
camera here.
longer that it goes. So,
Yes.
Why my dad
which
there?
I'm not sure. I mean, live is, obviously we talked in long mediation about the tour and how we feel and how certain people feel about it. Um, so I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, the U.S. Open starts next Thursday at
Mm-hmm.
Oakmont. I don't know if you guys heard or not. The Professional Women's Hockey League just had their season end. Minnesota won back-to-back championship.
Yep.
They had an expansion draft like the NHL because there's two new franchises coming in, Seattle and Vancouver. That will make 10 teams. Correct me if I'm wrong, Luz. It's 10 teams now in that league. I think there's
It'll
8 now.
be There's six
Or is it
now.
8?
It's six now.
Just-
Before added in. So because each team is going to
Okay,
lose 4 players. So yeah. I
correct.
mean, just like the
Correct. Yes,
NHL, we
that's
had the original 6. So this is the same way as it's falling in the you know,
the
like in the
same way.
NHL
Yeah.
because you start out with 6.
Yeah, because it was, and I think it was kind of the same cities too, because it was Ottawa. It's
Yeah,
Ottawa, Montreal, Minnesota, Boston, um,
New York,
New York, and I forget who. What Canadian team am I
Tor-
forgetting? Seattle and
Toronto,
Vancouver, the two.
Toronto.
Toronto. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
It's
those are
Seattle.
the.
Well, actually, no, it's just 2 teams. I think so. It's only 8. So we have Seattle
8.
and Vancouver,
Yeah,
which is well, it's right near each other. I mean, you can drive from Seattle to Vancouver in like about what 30 minutes.
yeah, that's on there on the
on
West Coast.
on a
Yeah.
on a good day, of course.
Yeah, yeah, it's not raining. Yeah, you could
Right.
get to Vancouver.
I mean, hey, I mean, some people have their house on the border. Their downstairs side is on the American side, the upstairs is on the Canadian side. So yeah, so
That's
figure it out.
Yeah.
exactly.
3 hour
Hey,
drive.
guy, you got a border pass here? I own this property, you stupid. Oh, it's you. Oh yeah, go right in. Thank you, you dumbass, you dirty no good. Speaking of a dumbass, let me tell you what happened to me yesterday. I mean, I was getting, I know last night was the start of the finals of the NHL, but I wasn't able to see it because you know what? Some moron split our with our problem with our internet. He split it, and it caused our whole internet and everything to go haywire. So I missed a great hockey game last night. Thanks a lot, you dirty no good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Edmonton
Edmonton
ended up
scored.
winning in overtime.
I
They
know,
scored
four to
first,
three.
then Florida scored a bunch of
Thank you, Connor
goals, and
McDavid.
then wasn't Drysdale the one who had the winning goal, right?
Drysdale, Leon, yes,
Yeah. In
Leon.
overtime with 30 seconds left.
Yep.
I hope
Do you guys
Edmonton wins.
do you guys think that that's because Edmonton lost last year to
Florida.
um, Florida? And if
The
you
Panthers.
remember, and Adam can correct me on this, you had Pittsburgh and Detroit in back-to-back championship. Detroit
Yep.
won the first
Mm-hmm.
time, Pittsburgh won the second time.
Yep.
So usually it's the other, whatever team loses the year before is the team that wins the next year. So it's on Edmonton. So this will end the
Well,
long tough.
but there's a
All
little
possible.
quirk about this Stanley Cup final. You know who's on Edmonton that has been in the finals
Yes.
5 straight years?
Corey Perry.
Yep. And everybody's saying that whatever team he's on is cursed because they can make the finals,
Yes.
but they don't win.
That's a curse.
It's okay
Yep.
because he won one when he was in Anaheim. So it can't be always the curse because he won a cup when he was
Yeah.
with the Ducks. So,
Yep. Back in 06.
Yep.
won a cup with the Ducks. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard for me because obviously you don't want to see Canada win a cup, but being that
No.
I'm from Florida, you don't want to see the
Yeah.
Panthers win one either.
No,
They win
because
back
then
to
their
back.
fan
No.
base. The problem I have is if they win another one, they're going to start saying, "Oh, we're a dynasty. We've won 2 cups in the last 2 years." No, you're
Yeah, like
not.
shut up. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
They've
you're
been
shut
in the
up.
not.
finals for the last,
You're
You
not a
the
didn't
last
dynasty
win
three.
2 cups in
yet.
3 years like the Lightning did. And plus, I'm sorry to say this, they've had help the last 2 years in the playoffs
Yes.
from officiating.
Right.
And it's
They
been
knocked the
clearly
Lightning.
evident this year, especially against the Lightning.
Yeah, they knocked the Lightning out the last 2 seasons in the first round.
Kachuk should have
Lightning
been
crashes.
suspended. Kachuk should have been suspended for what he did to the Lightning guy, but of course it's the NHL, so they're going to do anything they can to not have the Lightning go far in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, lightning crashes. Uh-oh.
And
It's
I hope the
um,
Panthers crash in the finals,
and it's
so we can hear
officially
their fan base complain that Edmonton got bailed out by officiating.
Now I'll bail you out.
Now you see. All I'm going to have to say is now you see how it feels.
Yeah,
Turnabout's fair play.
I believe that.
What's the next topic, Bradley?
So we have that out of the way. We'll go to the NFL real quick. Obviously, the big thing that came down today was Aaron Rodgers signed with the Steelers. It'll be tomorrow. As far as I know, that's what I heard today.
Hang it up.
They're still gonna. I'm gonna say this. They're still gonna Tomlin their way to 10 wins. They do it
And
every
Yeah.
year.
They got a quarterback. Now that they got a quarterback, they go 10 and 11, 11 and 6, 11, 11 and 5, 11. No, 11 and 6. I was right.
Well, yeah. Which Aaron Rodgers are you gonna get though? Are you gonna get the one
We'll
you got
see.
in Green Bay all those years, or are you gonna get the one you got with the Jets the last 2 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Aaron turns the clock back one more time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, they do have DK
Well,
Metcalf, so
I was gonna say they have a good running game. They've got DK Metcalf. They've got a good offensive line, and they can play defense. So
they
they don't
would
have
have
to
had
have.
George. They would have had Pickens if he didn't force his way out of Pittsburgh.
Right.
But as I
Well,
like to
goodbye
say,
to
they
Patrick.
get rid of every diva receiver before they blow up. Antonio Brown, Martavis
Martavius
Bryant,
Bryant, yeah.
Chase Claypool.
Mm.
Those are the 3 of recent that come
Plexico
to.
Burris.
Right.
Yeah, if you go further back, Plexico Burris. Antonio Brown's the
Well,
most
yeah.
notable one because now he's in jail.
Well, I think the thing about signing Aaron Rodgers is it's on. I don't know about it though.
Scapegoat for
You know,
1 year, in my opinion. To
I,
buy, I
like
think they don't. My thinking of why they sign Rodgers is they want to give Will Howard a year to develop if they think
yeah,
he can be the future. Because I
yeah.
think all 4 of us know that Arch Manning is not coming out of school after next year, even if he wins the
Nope.
Heisman. And people want to do mock drafts right now and say, "Oh, Arch is going to go number 1." Breaking news: he's not going to leave Texas. It's not.
No.
That's not the Manning way. The Mannings go. They stay at. Look at Peyton and Eli. They stayed at Ole Miss in Tennessee for
All 4 years.
all 4 years, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure
Well,
Arch is going to do the same thing.
I don't know. Again, kind of depend on how Texas' season goes. It'll depend on who he is, who's got the number 1 pick.
I think the Browns are going to have the number 1 pick, and I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to want to go to Cleveland.
It depends.
Uh-huh.
It depends on how Cleveland. It depends on
Because
who's
there's
the
already
number.
people out there saying that Shador or Dylan Gabriel will not make the Browns 53-man roster.
I think they both make the 53 man. Who's the? I'm gonna go with old man Flacco. He's
Well,
one more
then
child away
that
from a.
leaves, you know what? That leaves Kenny Pickett out then, because we know Deshaun Watson is going to be out for the year.
Right.
Unless people are trying to say, oh, he could be Joe Milton 2.0.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I say. Okay.
Yeah.
What
Joe Milton isn't even Joe Milton
delusion?
2.0.
I'm sorry, what delusional world are you living in?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson should not be in the NFL anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We've been saying that for years.
No argument
But of
from me.
course, it's Roger Goodell, and he gave
Duh.
him a slap on the wrist for a suspension. If anybody else does that, they're banned from the NFL for life.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the NFLPA's fault.
Or all those
Right.
guys that got banned for a year for gambling. That's another thing that doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. You can't bet on games.
Yeah.
Guys, I got a. These are 8 teams ranking the NFL's most likely worst to first teams for this upcoming season.
Okay.
Let me give you the teams, and I'll give you the odds of them winning the division and the odds of making the playoffs. This is ESPN.com. This is not I didn't go through and do all this research. This is what they did. So number 1 is the 49ers in the NFC West.
Oh.
11, the 35, about 36%. And the odds of making their playoffs is 63%. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I
don't know about that.
I like San Francisco to have a bounce
I'm
back
going to
here.
say this. They lost a lot. They lost Debo. I mean, McCaffrey's going to be back, but what version of McCaffrey are we going to get?
Are we going to get 16, 17 games of him?
Or are we going to get
I don't
5
know
or
about that
6
many.
games of him?
10.
And Ayuk as well.
I'm going to. Yeah, and Ayuk's coming back from injury. And then you got an unproven wide receiver in Ricky Pearsall, who.
Yeah. He showed some nice promise at the end of last year.
And then you got a guy in Juwan Jennings that, I mean, third and Juwan. But they're saying that, and I know it's only OTAs right now.
Of course, it's only
mandatory
OTAs.
minicamp doesn't start till next week. And what are we always say in the NFL? All you hear right now is all coach say.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all coach speak.
Coach speak. And right now, Shanahan's saying that Juwan Jennings is going to be the number 1 wide receiver. Which I'm sorry, that I don't know if I'd trust Juwan Jennings being the number 1 wide receiver.
Well, I don't. I think it comes down to coaching. And the NFL is a coach-driven league, and it really is up to the coach to take the players that he has and put them in situations where they can excel.
Yes, I agree with that.
And if you don't, there's so many bullheaded coaches in the history of the NFL that no matter what personnel they have, they have a scheme, and that's their scheme, and they're going to run it. And
Belichick was a perfect example.
no, he wasn't. He's a perfect example of the opposite. He adjusts his scheme to his players. He always did that. He always made adjustments to what he wanted to do with offense, defense, and special teams based upon what he had.
I would say, you know what? I think the 49ers might make the playoffs. Who's the next team?
Chicago Bears in the NFC North, 5-12
Oh, they won
last
the
year.
offseason, so I'm gonna say
Yeah.
what's their playoff chances?
36%, 15% to win the division.
Very
That's
high.
ridiculous. 36% to make the playoffs. I think that should be
That's
higher.
relatively low, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
37%.
that's absurdly low. 36% to make the playoffs.
That's what
They
That's
do.
very
ESPN.
low.
Yeah. So
I think they make the playoffs. They did a lot.
Yeah.
I like their draft other than taking Colston Loveland. I honestly think that was a reach. Tyler Warren was still on the board. You
We're
could have taken
going on a
him.
road trip.
I think that division is the best in football this year. The NFC North.
Yeah, everybody's gonna beat
I
up
agree.
on each other in that division.
With all four
Yeah.
teams all got
I-
better. Detroit's got all their talent coming back. Chicago got better. They got a new head coach. Minnesota's
Offensive-minded head coach, by the way.
Yes.
and then the
Ben
Packers are,
Johnson.
Yep.
So that division should be very interesting all season
Well, and the
long.
Packers got a new weapon too. They got Matthew Golden in the draft.
The wide receiver out of UCLA, right? I got the wrong guy.
Out of Texas.
Texas.
Mm.
The next team is my team, the Patriots, who finished 4-13 last year. Odds winning the division 14%. Odds of making the playoffs is 34%.
I think that should be closer to 40% for the playoffs. They upgraded in a lot of areas over the offseason.
Okay.
And one of the positions they upgraded the most at was wide receiver.
Agreed.
Getting Kyle Williams in the draft and signing Stephon Diggs, which again, I know it's OTAs, but the coaches have been saying that coming off ACL surgery, Stephon Diggs looks bigger and better than ever.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how he will do in a Patriot uniform. The next one is the Saints, who finished 5-12. The odds of them winning the division 11%, making the playoffs is.
I want to go last on this one.
Yeah. Hang on a second.
Somebody else can go first. What's their playoff odds?
Playoff odds are 18%.
Too high. I just don't. New Orleans, unfortunately, New Orleans was caught in a bind because they had to wait. They didn't know whether they were going to have Derek Carr or not.
Nope, Derek Carr retired.
And unfortunately, Derek Carr retired after the draft.
What was their playoff odds, Bradley? I didn't hear it.
18% to make the.
Yeah, if they had Derek Carr, I would say maybe they make the playoffs, but he retired. And now it's either Tyler Shuck, Jake Hayner, or Spencer Rattler. I don't like their chances of making the playoffs or winning the division. Now,
agreed.
I'm going to say this. I do like Tyler Shuck. I think he will be their starter week 1.
I think he's the starter by default.
Even though right now in OTAs, Spencer Rattler's been taking all the snaps with the ones.
Well, I think Spencer Rattler takes the. I think Spencer Rattler is the de facto number 1.
Yes.
For right now, until Tyler Shuck eventually.
Yeah. Until we see Shuck and see what he can do.
And that's the other thing is people are saying, oh, the Saints are going to take a quarterback again next year. What's the point of taking somebody in the second round and then saying, oh, we're going to give up on him after 1 season and draft another quarterback?
Well, I think it really depends on.
Yeah.
I think it really depends on how Chuck and Rattler play. If they're still 5 and if they're 3-14 next year or this year I should say, and they have a shot at, let's say Arch does come out, say Arch is available. I don't unless they have a Bengals-esque season where their defense gives up 440 points and Rattler or Shuck, have a 43 touchdown, 9 interception season. I really think that I really don't think you can leave Manning on the board if you get a shot to get him.
If he comes out. If he doesn't,
Yeah.
then you wait till he does. But the problem with the
And-
Saints is quarterback's not their only need. They need another wide receiver. They need offensive line. They need defensive line. They need corner.
And I think I once you get the quarterback spot right, you build offensive line, and if you don't get that quarterback spot right the first go round, you're stuck for 5 years.
Yeah.
The
And I
NFL
think
doesn't.
that's the one reason I think Shuck did not go in the first round is teams weren't willing to, if we draft Tyler Shuck in the first round, he's going to have a 5th-year option. I think that's why a team waited to take him till the second round.
Well, and unfortunately for a guy like Shuck, he's not coming into a good situation.
No, he's not. The Saints
He's
are
up
a
there.
mess.
He's the child protective service agent that's called when both mom and dad are beating the children.
Yes.
I'm
and
here all week,
unfortunately,
folks. I'm here all week.
Unfortunately for Saints fans, they're the children in this scenario.
You
No, you know what I would call Saints fans? I would say they're in a bad situation right now.
Yeah.
It's been that way since Drew Brees left.
It's been that way since Sean Payton and Drew Brees left. When they lost both of them, look at what Payton's done in Denver.
With Bo Nix.
Yeah, 1 year of Bo Nix, and it's like, who's the Sean Payton guy, and where did he ever leave?
Yeah.
Well, also too, from one of the best divisions in the NFC North to one of the not so great divisions in the NFC South. Outside of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons, the other two teams are really, really iffy.
Well, may I interject a second?
Please interject.
I think we are all, I'm not going to say doubting the Panthers, but I think we are all being a little too hard on them. I think they're going to be better than people think this year.
Yeah, but what's better? Are we talking?
I think they're going to improve their win total from what it was last year.
Well, weren't they? Were they? Correct me if I'm wrong. They were 3-14 last year, right?
Yes.
So what's improvement? Are we 6-11, or are we 8-9 with a making a late playoff push? Oh,
I say
8-9.
I can see 8 wins. Depending on Bryce Young.
I was going to say it really depends on whether Bryce Young steps up or regresses.
Seems like he's got some good. They did make a couple moves in the offseason to get him a couple more weapons. They brought in Deontay Johnson.
I don't think weapons make all that much difference when you have it's coaching that makes all the difference. I'm a big believer in coaching over weapons, because if you have the wrong coach that doesn't scheme to what you do well, we'll have to. But I think you could be right. I won't sleep on the Panthers too much.
I think weapons help too.
The only team in the Bucs division that I think's truly out of it right now is New Orleans.
I agree, but I don't think that
Carolina's going to win the division.
But
that would take a monumental collapse from the Buccaneers and the Falcons. Which the Falcons, I would.
But both teams are capable of monumental collapse. Falcons are a joke.
Falcons are a joke.
And it seems like, the only team in the Bucs division that I think's truly out of it right now is New Orleans.
I think weapons help too.
I'm not saying Carolina's going to win the division, but that would take a monumental collapse from the Buccaneers and the Falcons, which the Falcons, I would.
Falcons are a joke.
Spoken
I'm
to
not
capable of
saying the
minds.
Falcons are a joke. I'm just saying we know what to expect with the Falcons. Look at last year. They
and
had the chance
and
to win the
and
division and they choked it away.
Yeah.
with
They
with
gave it away to the Buccaneers
and
because
I
they
like
couldn't
what Tampa.
decide who they wanted their quarterback to be.
Yeah.
And they look dumb right now, paying Kirk Cousins all that money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kirk go
Well,
chain.
again, it doesn't really matter who your weapons are if your coach doesn't believe in you.
No,
And
just
and
like the
that's
Falcons, everybody says, "Oh, Kyle Pitts is going to have a breakout year this year."
Really?
they've been threatening that he was gonna have a breakout year for 8 years. He's only been in the league for
Ex-
6.
exactly. And
Mhm.
now they're talking about that they're going to listen to trade offers on him. Good.
Uh,
Get him out of
maybe,
Atlanta.
maybe he can go somewhere and finally be productive.
The rumors out there are Kansas City. They don't need any more weapons. They said Kansas City, Baltimore,
Mm.
because they think the Ravens might trade Mark Andrews.
Mark
I've
Andrews
heard
for Kyle
Steelers.
Pitts.
no, they
That's
might trade
fascinating.
or release Mark Andrews since it's post June 1st.
Release him.
I've heard, like I said, Ravens, Chiefs, Patriots.
Steelers need tight end help.
I don't know. They didn't. They mentioned the Steelers as like a dark, like a deep sleeper for him. If they want to give up on Fryermuth, you know what? I'd take Pitts in Tampa Bay. Another weapon for
He could
Baker.
Well, I mean, he probably would be a pretty big upgrade compared to
Cade
Great
Otton.
and Kate Otten. Yeah, because since Gronk has left, that position's been a question mark too. But so again,
Problem is, they want a day 3 pick for him, like a 3rd or 4th round pick
for who?
for
Pitt.
Pitts. That's what the Falcons
Oh,
want in return.
I mean, they can want in one hand, want in one hand and pick in the other, and see which one fills up faster.
And then I've heard the last team I heard was the Broncos.
Mm.
For Pitts.
Now, yeah, I mean that'd be something. Sean Payton loves his tight ends.
I mean,
Jimmy Graham.
yeah.
Jimmy Graham was the only really good tight end the Saints ever had when Sean Payton was there.
Well, we've gotten pretty far afield on this topic, so write it back in there if you want.
I was gonna. There's 4 teams left. The next
Let's
one on
just
the
run
list,
through them real quick.
the Titans. They have a 9% chance of winning the division, 15% chance of making the postseason.
No to the division, yes to playoffs.
No to both. Oh,
the Raiders are next. They have an 8% chance of 24% chance of making the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
well,
Yes
they
to
got Geno.
postseason, no to division.
They got Geno. They can make some noise.
Yeah.
They've got a.
I don't think they
running
win a
back room.
division because they're in the same division as the Broncos and the Chiefs and the Chargers.
And the Chargers.
So that's a no division, yes playoffs, especially with Geno.
Yeah.
But my one question is, how many years has Geno got in Vegas? Because they did draft a quarterback later in the draft.
Who'd they pick?
2 maybe?
They picked the kid Cam Miller from North Dakota State.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which I would think he probably sits behind Gino for maybe 1 or 2 years, and then they see what they got with him.
Yeah, depending on what they got with Gino.
Yeah.
Gino comes out and has himself
Where,
another.
Gino
which
doesn't have much of a lifespan left, though. I don't think.
Oh, I like
no.
him. I like him, bro.
2 years tops.
There we go.
The next guys is second to last team is the Giants. They have a 4% chance winning the division, 10% chance of making the postseason.
Yeah.
What is that? Oh, that Jackson Dart kid.
I think
Mhm.
Jackson Dart, they're going to
Yeah.
win more games than people think.
Okay, so we're thinking they're winning 0, so they win 1.
Mm, they're not going to win a
One?
16.
Come
They,
on.
they were
I think they
I
win at
think
least
it's better than
4
last
games.
season. I think maybe 7 games.
7, 4 more than they had a year ago.
Gotta give a little credit. Come on. Come on.
6
Come
and
on, work
11.
together. I don't think they can
I
win
think
first
they
and
go.
second.
We're
6
only
and
3 or 4
11.
good plane crashes away from making the playoffs.
They won't make the playoffs
I
this year, that's
think
for sure.
I'll say this: they will not finish in last place in the NFC North. In the
No.
NFC
No.
East,
East.
it'll be the Cowboys.
Oh, thank you very much.
Don't tell Gerald that. He may-
Secrets out, folks.
I think
We're here all
I
week,
think
folks.
I
Here
think it's
comes
a
the
race
hate
to the
mail.
bottom for the. I think it's a race to the bottom for the Cowboys and the Giants.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys are going to take
Yeah,
last
maybe you're
place
right. Maybe you're right.
by a wide margin.
I hope you're
And then
wrong,
the
but
last guy is the Cleveland Browns. They have a 3% chance
Oh
in the division,
God!
10% in the the postseason.
I don't know. I don't know about the Browns.
I'm going to
It's
say
just
no to the division because I think the division's either going to go to Baltimore, Cincinnati, or maybe Pittsburgh.
I kind of think again it's the way too early predictor part of the year. We're deep in the off season now. But I want to see Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel and in
yeah.
minicamp, and in August,
Uh-oh.
and see them in preseason, see where they're at, and yeah, I'm not ready to give up on Cleveland. I like where they got Sanders. I think it was a jacked move to wait till just to let him fall, get him in the 5th round. I don't know. I think he could come in with a chip on his shoulder and really
Yes.
out the proof.
Yeah, I say no to the division. I say playoffs, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I thinking about it, looking around the league. The league's so stacked now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are at least a dozen teams in each conference that are like, they could make the playoffs. And there
They
you got
can.
12 teams vying. You got 12 teams vying for 7 spots. 24 teams
Yeah.
vying for 16 spots. And whittling it down, Atlanta, um, Tampa, Carolina, all 4 NFC North teams, Eagles and
3 of the 4
Commanders,
NFC West.
and then Seattle, San Francisco. Possibly, you can make a case for all 4 of the NFC. Not that they will
Yeah.
all 4 will make the playoffs, but you could see a path for all 4
Well,
to get
see,
there.
I'm a little wary on Seattle. What
Mhm.
Sam Darnold are we going to get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again, at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to coaching.
It
And
is, but with Sam
coaching
Darnold,
too.
we've seen the good Sam Darnold, and then we've seen the Sam Darnold where he's seeing ghost.
Right. And I think that's what comes,
Yeah.
is scheming your offense to what Sam Darnold does well. Rolling out of the pocket, throwing on the move, keeping him moving, keeping him upright. I know it's coach speak, but no one wins a game on their back.
No.
So keeping a clean pocket, running the ball, playing good defense, it's a recipe for success for any core. Tom Brady didn't win 7 Super Bowls on his arm alone. He had he had help both on offense, defense, and special teams. He had a great coaching staff that put him in situations where all he had to do was make the right read and throw the ball. Can the Seattle staff put Sam Darnold in positions where all he has to do is read the defense and make the right throw? And then
Mm.
can Sam Darnold do that? That was his problem. That was his big problem in um
Jets.
thank you,
Jets.
New York. Was is the coaching carousel in New York never stopped.
Well,
Just
and they
about
had
some
no offensive line too.
they had no offensive line. He didn't have any receivers to throw to, and then when the uh, when the defense was out there out there on the field, they just decided not to show up. So, I mean,
Well, I
excuse
mean,
me,
again,
what?
it's I think it does come down to coaching because you saw he revolutionized his career in Minnesota under their head coach. So let's see how he does in Seattle with another head coach. If he's put
Yeah.
in the right system, then he's going to continue to do what he's been doing the last few years. If not, he's going to take a step back. He was in New York. We'll close.
I agree.
We'll close the NFL
Yeah.
with that the state senate in the state of Missouri has approved a plan to keep both the Chiefs and the Royals in Kansas City. So those two teams are not leaving Kansas City. So the Chiefs, obviously, they could be considered a dynasty, and the Royals have won a World Series in the last few years. So, or the last what they won in
Decade. We won
2015.
24.
Decade.
Yeah.
So
What?
they have one of the hottest rising stars in Bobby Witt Jr. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I
And
don't
Jack Caglione.
Jack Taglione, who they just
Right.
called up. Um,
Well,
but yeah, I don't think that I don't have. I'm happy that those two teams are staying put. That's just
Agreed.
yeah.
let's say that those two teams are staying put. Um, we can end the show, guys, with college. Let me
Hmm.
give the ESPN or MSN top 25 preseason poll. Let me go through all the teams, and then
Okay.
I will. You guys, your opinion on.
Well, are we also going
Okay.
to do teams we think are going to outdo win total?
We can do that too, but
Hmm.
yeah, let me run through.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get this to actually work. So it's not gonna let me do it unless I download the app, and I'm not doing that. Okay. Um, let's see what CBS says real quick. Okay, so these are playoff predictions. Team points to make debut in 2025. So these are the teams that CBS Sports thinks make it to the college football playoff. Let me go through these real quick. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are 8 that CBS thinks could make their college football playoff debut in 2025. Miami Hurricanes, the Illinois Fighting Illini, South Carolina Gamecocks, Florida Gators, Louisville Cardinals, Texas A&M Aggies, Ole Miss Rebels, Auburn Tigers, and that's the 8 teams that they have listed. CBS has listed that could make college football appearance. So
I want to say
Hmm.
something on Miami. I
Yeah.
and I think we talked about this last week. Do we really trust I know Miami's got a good offense, but can we trust
No.
their defense?
I don't trust
Nah.
their boneheaded coach.
I think it starts.
I can't see Miami making the playoff. The only ACC teams I could
No,
see
I
making
don't
the
see it either.
playoff. There's only 2 ACC teams I could see making the playoff. Maybe 3. SMU, Clemson, and a team I'm gonna talk about in a little bit, Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of SEC teams on that list. You had A&M, Florida, and Auburn are all on that list that are all from the SEC. So
I don't.
South Carolina.
Are we gonna get consistent quarterback play from Auburn this year?
I don't even know who's their
That's
quarterback.
that makes them right there. If they get solidified at the QB position, yes. If not, then no. They're going to be in the middle of the pack again in the SEC like they were a year ago. So, and the Gators, just it's going to depend on if DJ Lagway can stay healthy all season.
And it's going to depend on if they can beat USF in week 2.
Yes.
Well, they have to play Miami too. So early on, and then they of course they got to play Georgia. And it will.
This is another team I have on my list, but not on overachievers. I have them on underachieving.
If you guys want to go ahead and do that, go fire away.
Yeah.
I will give mine first. ACC, Virginia Tech's win total is 6.5. I think they're going to easily win. I think they win 10 games, and I'm making the bold prediction right now. They're going to win the ACC.
Mm.
Big 12, I have West Virginia, 5.5 wins. I think they get over 5.5 wins, and they win 8 games. And Rich Rodriguez is first year back as head coach. Big 10, I have, maybe it's a surprise to some people, Washington. Their win total right now is
I gotta go with that. Yeah.
7.5. And I think they're going to win 9 games. And in the SEC, and I think this is just laughable because this team did really good last year. Vanderbilt, 4.5 wins.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win 8 games this year. They got everybody coming back. Diego Pavia is back for another year. And then my teams that I think are going to underachieve, I just talked about Clemson. I've got Clemson out of the ACC. Win total 9.5. I think and I might be biting my tongue on this at the end of the season because it is Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've learned my lesson on betting against Dabo.
No.
I think they
none
only
of us
win
have.
8 games. Big 12, I've got Cincinnati. Their win total is 6.5. I think they win less than 6 games. I think they only win 4. And a coach that survived the coaching carousel this year, I think Scott Satterfield gets canned since Cincinnati's only going to win 4 games. Big 10, Maryland, win total 4.5. I think they win 2 games. And then the SEC, and I know this one I'm going to regret at the end of the season. Georgia's win total is 9.5. I think Georgia's beatable this year. So I think they end up with 7 wins.
Interesting.
Yeah, and 2 of those I think I'm going to regret at the end of the season.
Well, we all have regrets.
Yeah, I think I'm going to regret Georgia and Clemson.
Oh, you will.
Especially the Clemson one because it's Dabo. And
you will regret. Oh, you will regret that. You will.
I probably will. There's a bunch I got wrong last year, and I'm probably going to get a bunch wrong this year. So, who wants to go next?
Real quick, guys, they have USF at 6.5 wins. Do you like that?
I would take the over.
I hope so.
Like
We've won 6 games last season, so
I think they can win 8 and win the American.
we lost our athletic director to the Naval Academy, Michael Kelly.
Okay, here's a strike one.
Yep, Navy, who we play this year in Annapolis. So we do play the Naval
Who is
Academy.
the new athletic director then?
They haven't named one yet. They haven't named
You
one
put in
yet.
for it.
Me? I have
Yeah, put in your resume.
I don't
Put the
have any. I don't
resume.
have athletic director. I don't have all that any of that experience.
Put your app in. Worst thing they can do is give you the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I come on here. And guess who got the job as USF athletic director? I won't be able to do the show anymore. Sorry, guys.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Who are yours, Bradley?
Actually,
Yes.
I'm on Vegas Insider right now, looking at my list, looking at all of them.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, true. I went on. I didn't. Yeah. I'm on here looking at them.
I
The
wish I could
big
do it by conference.
the yeah the Big Ten. They have Penn State at 10.5.
Oh.
I don't know. That's a lot. I don't know, man.
Again,
They
it's one
I'm
of
gonna
those
say
things
that you
where
know what I'm gonna say. I got in an argument with a Penn State fan last week because they were doing their rankings,
You don't
and
want to
they
get
had
involved with
Penn
that.
State. Well, no, not. I got in a disagreement with a Penn State fan on TikTok last week because they were doing their Big
Of
Ten
course.
post spring rankings,
Yes.
and they put Penn State #1, and they had Ohio State all the way at 8.
8.
Yeah, I'm like, you lost
Yeah,
me.
right.
You lost me when you put Ohio State at 8 and put Penn State at 1. We've seen this movie before with Penn State. They
Too low
start
for
the year
Ohio
under,
State, too high for Penn State.
yeah, too low for Ohio State. Penn State, and even he was saying, oh, people are way. I'm trying. He was like, I'm trying to be the least biased out of all the Penn State fans. I'm like, are you sure about that?
Really?
Putting Penn State #1. He had Indiana
I
3,
don't know about that.
Oregon 2, Michigan
Indiana's
4. And
Indiana's regressing.
I don't know.
got them at
I
8.5 wins this year for the
I could
Hoosiers.
see Indiana winning more than 8 games. They don't have to play Ohio State this year.
Yeah, they have them. Vegas has them at 8.5. Well, there's a bunch of different.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's
they've
all
got.
it's a
Yeah, but they got them all different. All the different
yeah, it's
ones
all the
on
different sports books. Yeah, yeah, I see that.
MGM Grand, FanDuel, Bally's. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Oh no, those are the only. Okay, then they got ESPN. MGM Grand is another one that they do. Okay. Yeah, Penn State until they win the big game. I don't know about that.
I would take under on Penn State, honestly.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you know who they have?
Oh, yeah.
They have Notre Dame at 10.5.
I would take over, honestly.
Notre
Just
Dame
because
at
I've
10.5.
watched the CJ Carr's going to be their starting quarterback. I've watched his tape from when he was in high school,
Fuck CJ
and,
Carr.
and
and
then go ahead, bud.
he looks
Sorry,
really
I'm
good.
mumbling myself.
So I would take over on Notre Dame's win total.
Yeah.
They got Texas at 9.5. So they don't 10,
Right.
10, 10 and
I
2.
can see Texas winning more than 9 games. I think they beat Georgia this year.
Well, they have Ohio State to start the season off, so that's going to be the first true test of the season.
And Texas is ducking Ohio State under the lights.
Right off the
Game was
and so
scheduled long ago. I don't know why everybody wants all these games at night anyway.
It's better in prime time than it is at noon.
No, it's not.
No, I'll be honest with you, as a writer, I'd rather have a noon football game. You get up in the morning, you're done by the afternoon, you come home, you got the rest of the day. But like I said, USF, their first game of the season's at 5:30 at night in Tampa. It's going to be a nightmare getting to Rainy Stadium at 5:30. They have Army at 7.5.
Ah, I like
7.5. Really?
Texas. I like the over on Texas.
I do
Over
too. There's some easy games on their schedule. I think they, like I said a minute ago, I really do think they're going to beat Georgia this year.
No, I think they'll give Georgia a game.
I
see.
think this is, if you're going to beat Georgia, this is the year to beat them. Because they lost a lot on defense. They have an unproven quarterback for the first
Yeah.
time in a while.
Well, I think you can say that for a lot of people too.
They have the Gators at 7.5 and then 6.5.
There we
So
are.
it's just 7 down the middle. Yeah, I could see them being maybe one game over. It's going to be inch because again they have teams. They got to obviously
Don't they
because
play an FCS team as one of their out of conference games?
Yes.
I think they start the season off with an what they call cupcake games. I believe so.
Which I'm sorry, personally, I think you should be playing a big time out of conference game, either week 1 or week 2.
Yes.
And I know Brad, I know you're an SEC person, but you probably agree. These cupcake games right before rivalry weekend need to
Green puff.
be abolished. They need to go away.
I
Yeah,
think
they do.
I think what it's going to come down to is down the stretch if I think they're going to expand to 16 teams either after this year or whenever. I think those wins or those games like that are going to be games that they're going to look at if there's some kind of tie. I can't believe they have UCF, which is my anti-rival, 5.5, 5.5
Who?
wins. Well, 5.5.
For who?
UCF, the Golden Knights, or whatever
I'm
you want to
gonna
call
say under
Yeah.
because Scott Frost is coming back and they don't have a quarterback.
it.
And that's
the,
no
lo-
hate toward UCF. I
no,
just don't. I don't think it's gonna go well for Scott Frost.
the lowest odds on the website is Kent State 1.5. That is 1.5 for Kent State. That means they have them winning 2 games this year. Vegas has winning.
Well, and you know what? Oh no, it's Akron. Akron is ineligible for a bowl game.
Is that because of Oh well, they got 4.5, buddy, on here for Akron.
Doesn't matter if they win 6 games, they ain't going bowling because of
No.
academic standards.
Oh, okay.
Which I
Uh-huh.
never knew that was a thing.
I
I
hate
never
It
knew
that.
you
is.
could get punished for having low academic standards. Well, and then
Oh, sure you can.
Kent State might be facing a postseason ban too, because their coach is in a
Yeah.
lot of trouble
Yep.
for money laundering with the boosters.
What academic trouble is Akron in? Is it OGPA or
I think it was GPA, but I could be wrong.
I am
I just
looking it
heard
up.
about
Give
it
me
the
one
other
second.
day for when I was scrolling on social media. It came up. It was like, oh, Akron's academically ineligible for postseason this year in football. I think it was something to do with academics,
Right.
okay?
which
I'm gonna save this website and come back because they have Georgia at 9.5 too. That's where they have Georgia this year. 9.5 all the way across the board for some of these.
I would, like I said, I'm taking the under on Georgia. And if I'm wrong,
That'll
and
be
I
it.
hope
Yeah.
I'm not, I'll come back and admit it.
Yeah, that's that's who I see. I mean, there are some of these teams that are down here. They have like Rice at 3.5. That's in the AAC squad. I think I think USF plays them this year.
Mm.
Where do they have Miami, Ohio at?
Miami of Ohio. Let me see if they're on here. They have them, but at 6.5. Six and a
That's
half.
criminal. They should be higher.
Yes.
I know what.
I'm easily taking the over on Miami's win total.
Hmm.
Easily.
Well,
One of the.
so I found it.
Go ahead.
The University of Akron Zips football team will be eligible for 2025-26 college playoff postseason due to their low academic progress rate (APR). The Zips' APR score of 914 is below the NCAA's minimum threshold of 930 for postseason eligibility. This makes them the first BCS team to be ineligible FBS Jesus Christ FBS team to be ineligible for postseason play due to academic reasons since Idaho in 2014.
Mm,
Idaho. Man, that's the first time I've heard that.
UDL.
That's the first time I've heard that school's name in a long time.
Yeah.
Idaho. I remember when
Mm-hmm.
they were in the FBS a long time ago.
What, 2 years?
Mm.
No, when I was
Are
in
they
middle
D2
school.
now? When did Idaho go down?
Yeah.
2016 maybe? Because I remember for a while there, they were independent and then they were in the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of teams that are going to get. I think there's a lot of FCS teams that eventually are going to jump up to FBS.
Idaho
There
went
we go.
back in
Evident.
2015.
2018. 2018. About 7 years ago, they went down. They dropped down. So they went from the FBS to CS, and they're the Idaho Vandals is the name of their mascot.
I'll give you 3 schools that I think are going to jump up from FCS to FBS within the next, I'm going to say 5 years. Number 1, North Dakota State.
Mm.
No.
Yes. No.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's already talked about it. Why do you say no?
Why would you give up on a good thing, man?
Yeah.
They're saying they're saying that North Dakota State could go to the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 still needs one more team to be a.
Power 5.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So North Dakota State, Sacramento State's another one. And they're saying Sacramento State could either join the Pac-12 or go to the Mountain West. Those are the 2 big ones I've heard. Then I've heard UC Davis.
Mm.
I've heard Gonzaga, but that's only for basketball, all sports other than football.
I didn't.
And the other thing I think we're heading towards is mega conferences.
Super
Yeah,
conferences.
Yep.
Yeah. We kind of already have it in the Big Ten.
And we kind of already have it in the SEC.
And the SEC and Big Ten are trying to poach other schools from other conferences, like the ACC.
Yeah. It was
And the
Florida and
Big
Clemson. Florida
12.
State and
Well, they're
well,
talking about if the Big 12 implodes at some point, that Iowa State could go to the Big 10.
mm-hmm.
And Kansas State would go to the Big 10. Houston would go to the SEC. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Not the Big 12, the ACC. If the ACC implodes, they're talking about North Carolina could go to the Big 10. NC State would go to the Big 10. Clemson and Florida State would go to the SEC. But I don't think that would happen because Florida would block Florida State from coming into the SEC. A&M did the same thing to Texas.
Not
Well,
anymore.
that money solves a lot. Money solves all
Uh-huh.
problems.
I was
Yep.
good because Texas
Money
A&M.
solves problems.
Yes, especially there.
Mhm.
I actually love it. We came to SEC. Honestly, I would. That would be their that game at the end of the season would be a conference game. That would be great. That would have a conference game with your
Make that even
in-state
more
rival.
special.
Yep, your in-state rival.
Yep.
That both in I think the game's in Tallahassee this year.
Oh,
I
yes.
think it was in a year ago.
Yes.
In Tallahassee. But yeah, yeah, it again. It's really early. Obviously, we're what 2 months, 2.5 months away from
Give or take,
Yeah.
yeah.
first week of the season. Um, but it's getting closer. Waking
Yeah,
up on Saturday,
we're sneaking up on it.
watching College Game Day.
Yeah.
Saturday
Before we
starting.
know it,
Yep.
it'll be mildly hotter than balls out.
Well, that's how I was, hey,
Right.
hurricane season started down here, so we're in hurricane season now until November 30th.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we have, we have to
The
watch
second
now.
week of deer camp.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again, it's going to be interesting this year, and
Well,
could be some upsets in week one of the college football season that none of us are predicting could happen. So
I see South Florida upsetting Boise State.
I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to all come down to how USF plays defense. That's been the issue with the Bulls the
Well,
last
and
few.
it's Boise State without Ashton Genty.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
No, I think.
yeah. If Gent was still there, I'd be scared because I got to see Jonathan Taylor when he played for Wisconsin. Not a pretty game. Not a pretty football game.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Killed that night in on a rainy
Mm-hmm.
Friday night. We just got murdered by Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with Genty not being there, it's definitely going to help.
But
It looks
Maddox
like
Madsen's back, so
the Bulls are going to try to play that fast pace offense similar to Tennessee, that get up the field, ball, move the ball. The thing about USF this year is they have to get their opponent off the field. They can't let them get third downs and extend drives because the defense gets tired. And a lot of the games that we lost last year were because the defense was tired in the fourth quarter. They got to get them
Mm-hmm.
off the field. They're going to win games, and I think they can win more than 6, but they have to get the other offense off the field, which again, I guess is any college football, right? You're trying to get your opponent, you possess the ball more. Most of the time that you possess the ball more, you win. And doesn't always end up that way. Sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't end up.
yeah.
Sometimes it's the other way around. But for the most part, team that possesses the ball more has a chance to score more points. But can USF win 8 games? Yes. Will they win 8 games? I don't know, because last year it looked like
Well.
they were going to thing happen. But they've got Boise State, then they've got Miami and Florida. So they could be
If
1
you
and
Well, and
3,
then
and
they also I think have South Carolina State?
that's the 4th game of the season. So that might be, if they don't beat Boise State, they don't beat Florida, and they don't beat Miami, that would be their first win. They'd be 1 and 3 in the week 4. Then they start conference play. So
I think they'll
yeah,
go. I think they split. I think they beat Boise State, lose to Miami, and I'm
lose to,
sorry to say, Brad, I think they might beat Florida.
I I don't know. Gainesville's hard to win, and
They play Florida? Was it last year?
2 years ago I was there. I was there. I was there 2 years ago.
almost beat Florida.
Barely lost.
They lost. They lost on a miss. Yeah, they lost on a missed
And
field
I'll say
goal.
this: they would have beaten Alabama in Tampa if it wasn't for the rain.
Yeah, I agree with. That game they had the momentum. They had Alabama on the ropes, which not a lot of teams can say they do, but
They
again,
did, and Alabama had no idea who their quarterback was
Hmm.
because I think
yeah.
Milrow got benched in that game.
Well, Milrow came out at the end. They had started another quarterback. Milrow came out in the end of that football game, and that's when they won.
Ah,
As soon as they changed quarterbacks, Alabama offense started moving up and down the field, and we couldn't stop them. We couldn't stop them on defense. But I
and he
mean,
missed a couple of fourth down conversions.
yeah, can they beat the Gators? Yeah, they
Sure,
could. They
of
if you
course. Anybody can
early
win
enough.
on any given Saturday.
I would say this: the only game I'm scared of,
Mhm.
other the first three, is maybe Miami.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
Miami, so that really
And I'm
Yeah,
not
it's hard
scared
to
of South Carolina State because the last 2 years
no.
we played South Carolina State, we've whooped them.
so
I don't
yeah, we
think
have
South Carolina's
home started home against Boise State, then
well.
it's Miami, South South Carolina State at home. Then we're home against Charlotte, which that game should be winnable, I would believe. We go to North Texas. That game should be
That should be
winnable.
winnable.
The
Yeah.
Florida Atlantic.
Fort Atlantic should be winnable. They got a new coach.
Then we go to Memphis. Now that might be a game that
Well,
may not.
Memphis is replacing Seth Hennigan and a lot of
Right.
their skilled position guys. So they might be due for a down season.
Then we're home against UTSA, which is they're up and down. The Roadrunners are up and down. I'm not.
Maybe
I was just gonna do that
Then we
myself, thinking.
then we go to Navy. We go to Navy. So Michael Kelly will be there on the sideline waving at us as we come to Annapolis. Then we're at UAB and then home against Rice to end the season around Thanksgiving. So yeah, I mean, there's 8 games we can win on this schedule. We could be one of the top teams in the American, but
I think we will be one of the top teams in the American.
Mm-hmm.
we'll be
I
to
very much see
go
a
ahead.
9-3 season.
I would love a 9-3 season. I would
Eight and
love the
four,
nine.
9-3. I really think it's. I think if you can beat Boise, I think the road. You beat Boise, you drop the next two, and then you get obviously what you got to do to get right to get in conference play after. Well, you get a short bereavement to kill Carolina State,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get in the meat of conference play, and you got half a dozen winnable games in there, with Memphis being the only. 8-4. I think 8-4 is probably nine
You're
being the high
stealing.
water mark, eight being nine the high water mark, eight being probably right on average, and then seven if you were to drop another one of those. Like if you lost to North Texas because you just didn't show up, or it was bad weather, or the football gods decided to
Yes.
piss on you this week.
True.
That's never a good sign.
That's true.
That's true.
Well, I got the week one matchups pulled up. You want to go through that real quick?
Sure.
Sure.
So this is the Saturday, August 23rd. Um, Iowa State at Kansas.
That's in Dublin. K State, Iowa State is in Dublin this year.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going Kansas State.
Okay.
Lewis?
Repeat that again.
Iowa State, Kansas in Dublin.
Ah, toss up. Uh, I'm gonna go with Kansas.
It's Kansas State, but
Kansas State. Kansas State. Thank you.
mhm. Adam.
I'm gonna go Iowa State.
I'm gonna equal that out. I'm gonna go with the Cyclones too. I'm gonna equal it out. 2-2.
Oh, here we are.
Next one up is Fresno at Kansas.
Fresno State, Kansas.
Liv?
I'll take Kansas.
Bradley?
Jayhawks.
Rockshot Jayhawk all the way.
Clean sweep.
Then you have South Houston State University versus Western Kentucky.
You mean is it Sam Houston?
Yeah, I think it might be Sam
Sam
Houston.
Houston.
Yeah.
Sam Houston. Oh. Mm.
Sam Houston versus Western Kentucky.
I'll let somebody else go first here.
I'm gonna go with Western Kentucky because they have that creepy weird mascot. I love him.
Oh,
Give me
the Hilltopper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gotta love those creepy old mascots.
I do. I'm a sucker for a funny, creepy mascot.
Who did you say, Lewis?
Well, who doesn't like a creepy man? I got Western Kentucky. I mean, who doesn't like a creepy mascot? Even I do.
Bradley.
Give me the Hilltoppers. Yep, absolutely.
You know what? Sam Houston. Give
Okay.
me the Bearcats. Rawr.
And then you got in the last game on the docket, Stanford in Hawaii to take on the Rainbows.
Give me Hawaii.
Eh,
Yeah, I'll take a while. Give me the Warriors.
Can I just not and say we didn't?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you for saying nobody because
That's a terrible flip. I mean, what was did
Stanford's
Stanford
going to
go
be horrible.
I mean,
Hawaii,
they weren't
Hawaii might make a bowl game.
very good last year, from what I remember.
Yeah.
But it's a new year, so you never know.
They went 3-9, 3-11, something like that.
I think it was 3-9. Do you have the
And then
full week 1 schedule?
Yeah, I have the full slate. I'm just looking at.
So do I. I'm going with Stanford.
I just want to look at the. I'm gonna go Hawaii, but it's gonna be ugly.
I think it's going to be
No
ugly.
question.
I think it's going to be ugly for Stanford. I don't think
And the
Stanford
battle of
fans are going to want to make the trip to Honolulu.
I don't know. I think if I was a Stanford fan, I'd make the trip to Honolulu and just skip the game.
Yeah, and it tour around. Hawaii is a beautiful place to visit, but it's not a beautiful place to go for a football game.
No.
If you're, it depends.
What
if
is the
you're,
next?
If you're not Stanford, then yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the next slate is Stony Brook versus San Diego State.
San Diego State.
Aztecs.
Yep.
I think everybody's going to say San Diego State. Yes.
Yeah, another clean sweep. Then you got next up on the docket, we've got Boise in South Florida take on the Bulls.
South Florida.
Agree. I like Boise too.
I'll take USF because I'm the homer.
I'd take USF too. So
then in an interesting one, you got Ohio in Piscataway to take on Rutgers.
I'll take Rutgers.
Give me Rutgers. Give me the Scarlet Knights.
Bradley?
It sounds like a candy that you eat in your mouth. I'm taking Rutgers. Sounds like a
A crunchy.
university, but
crunchy.
I will. Yeah.
I'll take Rutgers as well. And then is that Louisiana Lafayette? I clicked the wrong one. That's are they going? Oh, I did click the wrong one. Yep. Louisiana Lafayette Leopards travel to Bowling Green to take on Bowling Green.
Give me BGSU. Give me Bowling Green
going
State
Bowling Green.
University.
Bowling Green.
The alma
Green clean
mater of
sweep.
Harold Fannin Jr., now a Cleveland Brown.
Good for him. Then we have East Carolina traveling to North Carolina to take on NC State.
I don't know. I'll go with
Give me the Wolfpack.
yeah.
Give me NC. Reluctantly, give me NC State.
Yes.
Agreed. NC State. Then you have Jacksonville State traveling.
And no, they are not in
North Carolina State.
Jacksonville, Florida. They are in Jacksonville, Alabama.
Traveling to Florida
It's in Jacksonville, Wyoming, too, you know.
to take
Yes.
on UCF.
Give me Jacksonville State.
Central Florida.
I see Bradley. I think I know what Bradley's gonna say.
I hate to say that, but yeah, I'll take UCF in that equation.
Yeah, I'm going to take UCF this too.
I'll take the Knights.
Then
You know what?
in
I'm gonna
a game,
reluctantly. I'm gonna take UCF as well.
in a game no one asked for, you got Delaware State taking on Delaware.
Well, and this is Delaware State's first game as an FBS program.
Delaware.
Delaware State.
Does it even matter? Delaware State,
It's
I
a
guess.
rivalry game.
Sort of.
It's a rivalry game the first week of the season.
In a rivalry no one asked for.
Right. But we got it anyway.
You know what? That's a valid point. That's a valid point.
St. Francis. Okay.
That
Then-
doesn't sound that sounds very unpromising.
Yes.
Then
Adam.
St. Francis, Pennsylvania goes down south to ULM to take.
ULM.
Agreed.
Yep.
St. Francis, PA.
PA.
You know, they're a decent
And then-
basketball school, you know.
The
Yeah,
first
they're
the
decent
Too bad they're playing
basketball
football.
school.
I
the
know.
first week of the season, we'll go back through the top 25 and we'll go by the lines
sure.
and over. That's what we do in the first
I-
every week of.
I just thought it'd be fun to do something different.
Yeah.
No,
What's the next game?
Then Wyoming travels to Akron.
Oh God. Ugh. And this is the game that nobody's gonna watch.
Agreed. I think that's probably why it's on
Sorry
ESPN
to
Plus.
Akron and Wyoming fans. Nobody else is gonna be watching this game. There's other good games on in week 1. If I have to pick somebody, it's gonna be Akron. Reluctantly.
I'm taking Wyoming.
I'll take Wyoming as well.
Next.
They're not even highlighted. I can't even click on them. They don't exist. CARK. Central Arkansas.
Yep.
Central Arkansas, yeah. Versus Mizzou.
Missouri.
Okay. Then we get one guy.
Fun fact though. Central Arkansas is in the United Athletic League, which if you watch college basketball is all the Atlantic Sun teams, including the team that's not in the A-Sun anymore, and why am I having a? I. It's a team that moved up to FBS.
Yes.
Jacksonville State.
Oh, okay. Then we get
I think we all take Missouri.
for
I
sure.
did.
Next one.
Then we have one guy travels to North Carolina in Elon to take on Duke.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks. We're here all week.
And that's the real reason I wanted to do this list.
Give me Duke. Give me
Duke,
Blue Devils.
give me the Blue Devils.
Yeah. UTM, University of Texas. Oh, that's Middle Tennessee, isn't it?
UN's in Tennessee. USF's played them before.
That's UT Martin. Okay.
Who are they playing?
They are the next one up. Some of these I don't recognize the acronym, so I have to click on it and see what it is. They travel to Oklahoma to take on the Cowboys.
Give me Oklahoma State. I've learned my lesson. Never, Bradley. What did we talk about all last year?
Don't bet against gun.
No.
Don't bet against my Gundy.
I'll take Oklahoma.
No.
Well, I'll take OKC or OKC.
OSU.
Oh yeah.
Oklahoma State.
OSU.
And then Buffalo travels to Minnesota to take on the Golden Gophers.
Golden Gophers.
Minnesota.
Yep, I'll take the Golden Gophers.
Even though Buffalo won 9 games last year.
Really, I didn't realize that.
Well,
Yeah. It was their bet. Their coach was on the hot seat, and he earned himself an extension by winning 9 games.
Yeah, that'll do it. Then you have
Where's LSU
Steven.
and Clemson?
Not there yet. Well, got there yet.
Right.
And Stephen F. Austin heads across the state to tango with Houston in Houston.
We got Missouri
Give me
and
the Cougs.
Central Arkansas.
Huh?
What's the game again?
Stephen F.
got-
Austin
Oh yeah.
Okay.
at Houston.
I'll take Houston.
Houston.
Alex.
Houston.
Okay. Alcorn State travels to Alabama to play UAB.
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 Yep, I'll
Give
take
me
the
the
Blazers.
Blazers.
Yep. Blaze it up. Then Nebraska heads to Cincinnati.
That is you know what? Little known fact about this game. It is a neutral site game. It is not at Cincinnati and it is not at Nebraska.
That's true.
It's in Kansas City.
Yep. At
Kansas City, here I come.
I
Arrowhead?
think it's in Arrowhead.
Yep.
You know what? I just talked crap about Cincinnati. I'm gonna take Cincinnati.
I like
One lucky
Cincinnati
time
as
this year,
well.
Cincinnati
Yeah.
fans, and I'm taking you.
I'll
Yes.
take Nebraska.
Yeah, I think it's really a make it or break it.
Yeah.
You know what? Give me Nebraska.
I think it's a make it
I
or break
don't
it for both
trust
teams.
Cincinnati enough to
I'm going
beat
Cincy.
LSU versus who are you looking for?
Clemson.
Hmm.
I think that's a
there it is.
Sunday game.
It's-
I think.
I'm going
That's
Clemson.
this Saturday. LSU at Clemson in Clemson.
I'm
Give
going
me
Clemson.
LSU.
Give me the Tigers.
All right.
Which
Yeah, I like the
Tigers are you?
Tigers too.
Which Tigers are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Bayou Tigers. How about that?
Right.
I'm going to take
Go
the show on the
Tigers.
road for the last 10 minutes. So,
Go
Yeah.
Tigers.
ugh.
Right.
Mhm.
Hey, I
Go
think we skipped one,
Tigers.
guys.
Give me LSU.
Yeah, I skipped down to that one because y'all wanted that one. But I gotta do a little taking the show on the road, and a little road trip to take care of. So
Yeah. Okay. I'm taking Wisconsin or Miami though.
my Miami, Ohio.
Right, right.
Ugh.
Miami, Ohio.
Over
Yep.
Wisconsin?
Yep.
No,
Whoa.
I'll take
Not
Wisconsin.
a,
Gutsy
yeah,
call.
not on your life.
You
Hey,
may be wrong, but you have guts.
I'm willing to take risk here.
All
Yeah.
right.
I don't know if and I'll tell you why. Wisconsin's got a new quarterback that was at Maryland and did nothing
Yep.
at Maryland, and Billy Edwards. And I don't think I
Uh-huh.
can trust him. Then again, it's Luke Fickle. Luke Fickle has a
All
tendency to
right.
fix quarterbacks.
And it's also Miami of Ohio. They tend to break your heart.
Yeah, I could be
Yes.
wrong,
Wow, what a
but
list.
I could be right.
You may be wrong, but you may be
And
right.
and all those times that I
Oh,
was wrong, I was just right for the next time.
Yep.
yeah.
Uh,
We're here all
Sure.
week, folks.
one night only tonight.
Some of us will be. Yeah.
Yeah, some of us.
If it's all the same to you, I'd like to go home.
Yeah.
What's the next
Sure,
game?
yes, I'm going home. Okay.
Do you guys want to call the show right there and come back next week?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
we'll pick it up from August 29th next week.
Lou, what you want to talk about your show before we get off?
Certainly. The Enhanced Sports Show. Yes, we are still on despite my mishaps from the internet yesterday. But yeah, we're still rolling, whether you like it or not. Saturday 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Number is 512-543-4662. 512-543-4662 is the number. We're also on Facebook Live now. And don't forget to like and share the Facebook page. We are going to discuss, of course, it's finals week, guys, the NHL and NBA finals. So of course, we're going to discuss that. French Open finals this weekend too. The women's on Saturday, the men's on Sunday. So I'll take predictions on that. Of course, we'll continue on with the WNBA. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cover a recap of the fifth major of golf. No, the Memorial, or rather sixth major, whatever you want to call it now these days. MLB, your UFC and WWE with Steve. We'll also have our monthly feature of these standings and monthly schedule because June is going to be a big month, as it usually is. Your thoughts and comments are always welcome. Sports trivia. We changed this week in history to this day in sports history because if we went the whole week, it might take forever. So I just thought I'd shorten it before we get off the air. And of course, the ridiculous side of the week and the best, and of course, the feel good story of the week. So remember, it's 4 to 6 Saturday, that's Eastern Time. I forget where now. Bradley and you guys are all Eastern Time, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, all three of you are Eastern.
Yes.
Yep.
Good. Okay. All right. So 4 to 6 Eastern Time. 512-543-4662 was the number, and hope to see you there because June is going to be a big month in the sports world. So I can use all the help I can get.
All right. Before we go, yeah, thank you to these three gentlemen for making the show great. As we have another show in the books. Again, we are part of NGSC Sports, guys. Remember the website, it's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. We are sponsored by biotropiclabs.com. Head over there. I will put the discount code in the description of this video on YouTube. You want to go over there and read that. We'll be back next week, guys. Back next Thursday to talk more about what's going on in the sports. We will kind of we can review Money in the Bank since that's this Saturday. Hopefully, pray to God Seth Rollins does not win, but we will
Or
see if that
Solo
happens.
Sokoa.
We'll find out.
I
Find
think
out.
Seth's winning. Seth's gonna win.
No,
But,
Roman's gonna screw him over.
But I want to thank the men and women of our armed services. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you to our first responders. So then, guys, everyone, I am the sports show Bradley Walker. This has been the Walker Report. Peace.
Friend, send it.
To you,
Yes.
gentlemen.
Okay, let me get